What's up? It's Karceno, man. It's been a lot of talk about Stephen A. Smith lately. It's like, hey, man, Stephen A. Smith said this. Stephen A. Smith, man, we gotta get on him, man. He's terrible. You know, man, he's letting us down. I'm like, letting us down. Terrible. Like, these are words I don't really associate with Stephen A. Smith. As far as being someone of like this type of level of importance. But let's journey through it a bit, let's revisit this so that people have a greater understanding of what I'm talking about. Stephen A. Smith, over the past few years, let's say since 2015, have you noticed anything different about Stephen A. Smith? Haven't you noticed that he says things that are just a tad bit, I would say, over the line nowadays? That you be like, hey, wait a minute, I don't know about that, Steve. And he's only been doing that for the past, you would say, last 4 years, right? That he's really been going down this type of road. And you're like, well, what is your point? Here's why you guys haven't really paid too much attention to the change in Stephen A. Smith. And why now you guys are starting to say, hey, he's a bit too much. Stephen A. Smith has switched. Okay, he switched his agencies. Now he's with an agency that's more entertainment friendly. That's when you saw him on the soap opera playing the guy Brick. I'm like, what is he doing? So he switched up to be more of an entertainment personality than a sports journalist. So if you look at him on his resume, he's no longer a sports journalist. He's in entertainment. He's on a sports show giving you stats, but he's listed as an entertainer. Max Kellerman, entertainer. They're not sports journalists anymore. They're entertainers. Skip Bayless, entertainer. Shannon Sharpe, entertainer. They are no longer sports journalists. When Shannon Sharpe was on Fox or NBC or whatever show he was on, CBS, I believe it was, Shannon Sharpe was a sports journalist. Okay, he was in a sports world. There are rules. There are guidelines that you must follow to the letter. They have no wiggle room around it. These are the facts. So when you see Stephen A. Smith says something that is so bold and outlandish, he's doing it now because it's what gets the hits, it's what gets the ratings. He's in the entertainment business. That's the weakest move I've ever seen from a professional athlete. That's to get your attention. That's to get people talking. Oh, I'm not scared, bro. I'm not scared one bit. You know where to find me. Entertainment. entertainment. It is all entertainment. Now, I don't know what people would find more entertaining about that. But when you go to entertainers to get your sports diet, then this is why you end up in the position you are now. The most people who are sports anchors, these people are the guys that host Sports Center and things like this. These guys are into sports. They're covering the sports. That's why you don't see the Sports Center anchor go, "He sucks." It's pretty much of a position you're taking. So when you see these shows here, they have entertainers that come on there, or what they call analysis people. They have people who do sports shows, who are journalists now, sports journalists, who are former athletes. When they come on the show, do they start giving you these full out rants? They give a professional opinion based on the athletics performances, and they take a respectful approach because they have a code of guideline that they must follow even on these programs. So I like how they had Chris Haynes. Oh, I guess somebody told him, like, Chris, you're going to have to step it up a little bit. So somebody must have gave him an enema or something on one show. Last show he was on, he was just hollering. I'm like, look, he's yelling at Steve Smith. Somebody must have told him, we need more life out of you, Chris. Chris Haynes is on there hollering, "Man, come on, Shannon." So I'm like, what the world happened to Chris? Somebody put something in his espresso. He must have had a black coffee. Coffee. Black. He went all in, didn't he? My goodness. "Man, shut it up." I'm like, what in the world happened to Chris Haynes? Oh, man. And they want to talk about, he said Carmelo Anthony shouldn't get a doggone farewell thing. I'm like, what is Stephen A. Smith doing there after he just had surgery? You know why? Because Stephen A. Smith knows you can't take days off of work. They're always looking to replace you. Plus, he loves his sound of his own voice. He loves to be on television. He loves to be right on one thing. He loves to have two shows. This is Stephen A. This is what he does. Now let's speak on this thing he was talking about with Carmelo, right? Carmelo shouldn't have a farewell party or whatever, or a farewell tour. Why would Carmelo Anthony get a farewell tour? You think Chris Paul's going to get a farewell tour? I mean, let's be honest. Who's going to give Chris Paul a farewell tour? Not the Clippers. Not the Houston Rockets. Not New Orleans. Nobody's giving him a farewell tour. When he retires, which might be after the next 2 seasons, he's gone. Farewell tours, I mean, what is the farewell for? Thank you for scoring a bunch of points. people who have gotten these farewell tours did so for all they provided for the league, but they can attach them to a certain team. No one has gotten the farewell tour who you couldn't identify with a team. Who are we gonna? What team do we identify Carmelo Anthony with? Is he Denver? Is he the Knicks? I don't know. He's just a journeyman. So what does he want us to attach him with? Is Denver finna do something for you? If the Knicks gonna do something for you? I don't get it. I really don't get it. He doesn't, to me, deserve one. To even think that he should get one is insane. He needs a farewell tour. I'm like, huh? And we're taking this word from a strength and conditioning coach? A strength and conditioning coach says it. Now it's fact. That's what we're doing now? Is that really what everybody wants to do at this point? Give everybody send-offs. Kobe got a send-off. Kobe was the last person I know to have a farewell tour, except for Dwayne Wade. D. Wade has played the majority of his career with the Miami Heat. He went back to retire with the Miami Heat. He won 3 NBA championships for the Miami Heat. With that franchise, which is an expansion franchise that got here in like 89 and 90, around that time. 1990. So they haven't been around long. And in their short history, they got 3 championships. And the biggest staple star they had, who they've drafted, was Dwayne Wade. Now, here is what I was thinking. We need to stop giving people things they don't deserve. And this is not about Melo right now. This is just in general. In sports, you compare them to people who really earned something. I thought Dominique Wilkins should have had a farewell tour. He didn't get one. What he did for the Atlanta Hawks was incredible. What he did for the league was incredible. They honored him with a job. You know, you guys got to realize that there were great players in this league who done a lot of things. And to score 20-some points a game now is like, it's like academic. Everybody's scoring 20-some points. You got regular people getting triple doubles. I mean, you got point guards getting it. So how impressive is your triple double when you have point guards getting triple doubles all over the place? Translation, I don't want to hear about, oh, LeBron is so great. He could average a triple-double if he want to. Well, then, damn it, why don't he want to? Rustin did it for 3 straight years. So don't tell me what he can do. He ain't doing it. Because that requires a little bit more effort. Now we have to stop giving these players all of these accolades. That they don't deserve. And I don't blame you, the fans. You guys are confused by all these entertainers. There's people out here entertaining you and not informing you. That is the problem. Because they make more money with these entertainment sports shows than they do with the actual sports news. Regular sports news people consider to be boring. But what sports news do is actually give you the information. These sports entertainment shows give you the information with their slighted point of view towards the information. Well, you have these so-called sources. Rival exec says. That's how you know they have no material. That's how you know a show has no material, an entertainment show, when they says a source inside the camp, a rival general manager says they have no information for a show. They have no material to go off of. Nothing's happened. Oh, well, the gravitas of the situations have always changed. But I always want to give proper respect to those out there, like those guys like you who donate to the page and hit the stream live up and hit my super chat. That's in the description box with the big bold letters super chat with the link next to it. Yes. When you leave your message over there, I hope you guys understand that I do get it and that it's clear. And I read them all. And I know exactly what you're saying. Now, the news have always changed as far as how people gonna view certain things. That always changed. That narrative's that train's never late. Someone's always got a point of view in which they gonna give you a slant on how they think about it and steer you in the direction that they're going. Right? Now, let's get to this point. Fans, stop repeating what entertainers are telling you about sports. You know why? Because all it's going to do is leave you disappointed. Because you're going to think you know everything. You got it down to a T. And you're going to walk outside and run into somebody who actually know what they're talking about. And get your feelings hurt. Because you listen to someone on TV. And we know who you are. We see you in the comment sections. And you come up with these crazy remarks that was like, okay, he been watching First Take, and he saw Max Kellerman say this dumb thing, and now he's on here regurgitating it, and you look like an idiot. Because anybody with common sense who actually knows sports would correct you. Well, I look at it like this. Things change and things happen for a reason. Everyone brings up the Allen Iverson, Stephen A. Smith situation. Stephen A. Smith lost the trust of Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was one of his first guests on his show. He thought Stephen A. was for the brothers and this and that. But what Stephen A. did was basically an intervention, insert and some speak. People thought that, especially other teammates on Philly, when Stephen A. Smith was a journalist at the time, that he should, this is my house, but you're welcome anytime. When he had his Quite Frankly show, which lasted 1 year, and they canceled it. And they canceled it because it was crossing the line between sports and entertainment. And at this point, him being an entertainer, was more, wow. Why is everyone hitting me up now? You see this? This is just insane. Is that it? Okay, I'm done. You hear all these bells ringing? This is my day. Thank you. This is what I go through all day. Bells ringing, alerts ringing, sounds being made. Oh my gosh. Now, anyhow, that brings us back to our point. Sorry about that. Allen Iverson has definitely stepped his game up. Allen Iverson, without a shadow of a doubt, stepped his game up on the court and was playing out of his mind. But things have started to take its toll over the years since he's been out of the NBA Finals. And Stephen A. Smith decided it was time to point out some facts that was happening around Allen Iverson to the general public about him having issues, which was revolving around drinking and gambling. So that rubbed a lot of players the wrong way on Philly, who was teammates with AI. And from that point on, a lot of people had distrust. The Kevin Durant situation is another situation where people started to have distrust of Stephen A. Carmelo Anthony and Stephen A. Smith have always been close. And Carmelo told him, he said, you'll always be all right with me as long as you check directly with me. Carmelo Anthony is another person that has a very close relationship with Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith apologized to Carmelo before over something he said when he didn't check with Carmelo first. Carmelo says, I'm going to give you access, but before you run any story, you have to at least call and check it through me. If you heard anything about me, you could check it directly with me. And if I don't give you an answer, then you can go ahead and do what you got to do. But he got his direct number. And he ran a story that wasn't true on his show. And he got a call from Carmelo Anthony. And he says, you have my number. He's like, oh, I thought, you overseas in the Olympics. I just thought you didn't have time and I was going to check in with you later. But you went on the air and already did told this story. So he had to go and give Carmelo's side of the story the next day. But he had to let the story breathe, because that's all he wanted to do in the first place, was let that story ride, then give it his version the very next day. We've seen this with Shannon Sharpe and Ray Lewis. Shannon Sharpe and Ray Lewis both went through the same ordeal. Except for these are former teammates. These guys played together, athletes. These dudes are like brothers. Shannon Sharpe is the reason Ray Lewis became the Ray Lewis he is. He showed Ray how to get in shape, how to take care of his body. He was the big brother. So when they disagreed and they were on the wrong side of the Colin Kaepernick situation, it became a much bigger moment than what people realize. A much bigger thing than people realize. So you guys didn't understand that Ray Lewis was livid with Shannon Sharpe because he didn't check with him and said he was going to call him after the fact. After they did the show. After he went on there and berated him. And the effect that had on Ray Lewis's life without having a conversation with him. These things came back to haunt Shannon Sharpe because he was losing his friend while trying to entertain at the same time. So you had to make a decision. Was it worth your friendship? Because now him and Ray Lewis they're back brotherly again, but the trust factor is a little damaged. There's things now Ray won't share with Shannon because of this fact. So they're brotherly, but the cracks are still there from what happened on that show. And they just disagree on opinions, but it was more than that. So when you do these type of shows, you got to make sure you have no friends. Because you can't have any attachments. Look at Skip Bayless. Everybody hates Skip, who's not a writer. If you're a writer, you love Skip. But if you're anybody else, you don't like Skip. Why? Skip does not represent anything that you're fighting for. Unless you're a writer. If you're a writer / journalist, you remember Skip from back in the day when he was a journalist. Now he's an entertainer. So his job is to entertain you weekly and give you his most biased opinions and biased judgments. The fans pay attention to it. The athletes, they can't stand him. Makes it hard, very hard to get guests on his show. Because the other guests, they got friends that can't stand him. So they're going to be like, why would you go on his show? Kyrie Irving will never go on Undisputed. He went on the ESPN show, though. A lot of guys who go on ESPN show would not go up to Undisputed, mainly because of Skip. NFL players, they don't want to come sit next to Skip and give his show the spotlight. Like Antonio Brown will never go back on Undisputed. He was on there, he did it, he's done. Skip Bayless doesn't care if he has no guests. I told you that. Skip will do that whole show by himself. He has no problems whatsoever in making that very clear to people. He loves the way his work and what he's doing, and he's not going to let anybody change that opinion about what he does. He's very happy and content. So hopefully this answered all of your questions about sports and entertainment and how the fields work. And maybe now you guys got a little clearer picture of what these guys do, how connected they are, and they have connections, but a lot of them have burnt their fields up. It's the trust of the athletes. And that's it. So if you like everything you heard, you remember you're watching this on YouTube Premiere. And definitely hit me up on the Cash App. The link should be in the description box. We already have videos up today. I think the 50 Cent video's up now. The Eminem MGK thing when MGK called him out, that's up. Definitely watch that Good Times. I premiered that on YouTube as well. That was a very intriguing one. So definitely check out Good Times. Where I keep calling John Amos James Amos. Yeah. Through the entire video. Cracking myself up. Like, gosh, how I messed that up. Yeah, and then if you made it to the Streamlab and you made it through all of this rambling, thank you. It took a lot to sit here for a half an hour and do this. I have a lot to do today. But I have not forgotten my people. That's you guys. I'm out.